Learn about the notes through the signs with me. Say it do. Yes, yes, yes. It is true. The lovely Novi Brown and myself are coming together once again to put on a 2-day webinar event covering the lunar nodes through all of the signs. That's right, all of the signs. And this is something I usually get a lot of requests about, especially when doing the videos like the one I'm about to do after this infomercial, which means I should be seeing all y'all there. Links to purchase will be available in the description box. Love you. Mwah. What's up, YouTube? This is your girl Megan from the HoodAstroQ. Welcome back to my channel to all of my returning subscribers. However, if this is your first time joining me on today, welcome. It is here that we use information from celestial bodies to help us gain a better understanding of our favorite celebrities, world events, but most importantly, our damn selves. So thumbs up this video, share with a friend, and subscribe to become a part of the family. Now, with that being said, August 25th made the 20th year anniversary of Aaliyah's passing. Aaliyah was a huge R&B singer in the 90s and early 2000s and was on the fast track to become a cultural phenomenon, an icon, if you will, until her untimely death in August of 2001, where she was killed by way of a plane crash. Now, since then, the younger generations have rediscovered her music, rediscovered who she is, and she's definitely cemented a legacy for herself that will be intact for generations to come. I'm pretty sure people hundreds of years from now will know who Aaliyah is or know who Aaliyah was. And if I might add, myself, I am a huge fan of Aaliyah. I have been ever since I was a little girl. I used to try to make my hair do the little swivel over my eye, but my mom always told me that it made me look like I had a lazy eye, and so I just aborted mission. But I also vividly remember her passing. I might have been in the 3rd grade, but it still resonates and it's very clear and it sticks out in my mind. And like many people, I often toy with the idea of the what if. What if Aaliyah was alive? What would the industry look like? What would she be like? What would her career be like? And of course, these are things that we can all theorize about, but we'll never know. But what we do know is that Aaliyah was a Pisces South Node. And so in today's video, I want to talk about the 6 different instances in which Aaliyah proved herself to be a Pisces South Node. Number 1 was her angelic personality. Now, despite her being a Capricorn sun, who are typically known for their either just downright mean or kind of standoffish or very suspicious kind of demeanor, Aaliyah was actually very, very sweet. And this was something that after she died, everyone who pretty much had ever come into contact with her all said the same thing. And it's a kind of personality that radiates through the screen. So even as a fan or as someone on the outside looking in, I never met her a day in my life, but I think we can all agree to the fact that everything about her just kind of comes off as someone who is just really, really nice. She just seemed very, very nice, right? And that's actually very much an attribute of that Pisces South Node. Now, is that necessarily saying every single Pisces South Node is just a nice person and such a sweet person? Not necessarily, but specifically in Aaliyah's case, I think she definitely radiated and leaned into a lot of this Pisces South Node energy, just because a lot of Pisces South Nodes can also be very compassionate, very accepting, and sometimes too accepting, to the point where these are people who are always willing to see the good in others and can sometimes be very gullible, which brings me to my second point, which was the second quality that Aaliyah had that really showcased that Pisces South Node energy, which was her victimhood. And although this is a part of her legacy that, you know, a lot of people don't really want to talk about too much, but especially with the R. Kelly trials that have been happening lately, has been making the news. and more people have been talking about it lately, and it's been gaining more traction. But Aaliyah was definitely one of the first few victims that R. Kelly, victimized in the 90s. She was a teenager, very much a child, and he was a grown man, and they got married. And allegedly, according to damn near everyone who was around R. Kelly at the time, he had a sexual relationship with her. And based on what we know now about the other girls whom he victimized in the same way, he was very abusive. He was just a sick, twisted, demented person. And so when you view it through that context and you look at the music she made while under his guidance, and just a lot of how she was, looking at the interviews back then, looking at her personality and demeanor, and juxtaposing that to the likes of R. Kelly, it does make you sad because you realize the truth, which is that she was victimized. She was victimized, and that's very Pisces South Node. A lot of Pisces South Nodes can find themselves in situations that is kind of hard to get out of. Situations where other people are overriding your free will. They can also be easily brainwashed or programmed, which also definitely aligns with the situation at hand when you're talking about an adult being inappropriate with the kid, right? These are also people who could be very self-sacrificing, self-sabotaging. And in that same vein of sacrifice, in some cases, other people may sacrifice them. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be self-sacrifice. And if you ask me, especially when you take a look at her mother, her parents, and the fact that she literally came from this music royalty type of family, her uncle and everything, I feel like she was a sacrifice. I feel like she was a sacrificial lamb, even if you want to talk about her death. But we're going to ease up off of that because that's Patreon talk right there. That's Patreon talk. But all of that still definitely is on par with that Pisces South Node. Number 3, Aaliyah was an artiste in every sense of the word. Her artistry as well as her acting abilities were superb. And it's worth mentioning that Pisces South Nodes, a lot of them, you do see this lunar nodal placement in the charts of a lot of actors and actresses, people who are really big in film. Acting comes quite naturally, and a lot of that has to do with that being a means of escape for these people. And the same thing when it comes to music as well. So you can look at the Pisces South Node individual as just an all-around artist. Now, once again, does this necessarily have to ring true for every single Pisces South Node? Not necessarily. But for Aaliyah, it definitely was. And the fact that she had her Jupiter in Leo definitely helps, because that's also another really good placement for an actress. It was responsible for her interest in theater. I believe she even went to theater school while she was younger. So yeah. Now 4 is something that's a little less known, which was the fact that Aaliyah loved perfumes, oils, and big, long, exotic baths, right? And I actually found this out after watching an old interview that she did. And she was just talking about how she loves taking her time and lighting candles and putting on all of her lotions and potions and smell goods. In fact, even after her death, her camp came together to create a perfume line. I think it was called Aaliyah. Y'all let me know in the comment section. But that's very, very Pisces, y'all. Pisces does rule oils and potions and scents and fragrances. And so a lot of Pisces South Nodes I've seen could go into these kind of industries, or they are people who could just enjoy these things themselves. Number 5, Aaliyah was a very secretive person, a very private person, if you will. And this was something that made the R. Kelly thing such a big deal, especially in more recent years. I think because there was still so much mystery surrounding it. Aaliyah actually went to her grave with the details surrounding that relationship and a lot of other relationships she had, because allegedly it's been revealed over the years that she's dated Jay-Z at one point, allegedly, as well as like a few other people. So those things weren't really spoken about a lot. And then when you also account for the fact that social media did not exist, smartphones with internet did not exist like that back in those times, it just made the perfect environment for an artist such as herself to just kind of fly underneath the radar. Because Pisces South Nodes can be very sneaky sometimes, or kind of private, some people can even view them to kind of be as the types to where you got to pull information out of them, right? People who are always kind of safeguarding certain information, or people who in some cases can be viewed as untrustworthy. And I don't think that was necessarily Aaliyah, but she was definitely more so just the type to kind of keep things to herself and have lots of secrets. And the only downside to having lots of secrets is that you could be subject to scandal, which is another really big attribute of that Pisces South Node. And she definitely has found herself in the midst of scandal, whether in her life and surprisingly even after death. Now this last one may be something that maybe only I noticed. Y'all let me know if y'all notice the same thing as well. But there seems to be a lot of photographs of Aaliyah. Like, even after all of these years, scrolling through Instagram, I'll still come across a lot of photos that I've never seen before, such as this one. And it brings me to my sixth point, which is that Aaliyah, being as photographed as she was, definitely resonated that Pisces South Node energy, because Pisces does deal with photographs. A lot of Pisces South Nodes, in fact, could be famous photographers, models, maybe even videographers or filmmakers, or they could be in the film industry as well. So that whole theme of just being photographed coincides perfectly with that. And yeah, this concludes my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about Aaliyah. What's your favorite Aaliyah song? And what's your favorite memory of Aaliyah? Make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. Bye.